What's up, guys? This is Neil Isguero, and I am discussing about today the equation that I use and how I use it in creating graphics. So, which is I am starting with a sample one, which is a heart stone, a teleportation item in World of Warcraft. So, my project is based on World of Warcraft, and that's why I can smoothly and easily create my projects because I have an objective, which is to make quality drawings and graphics for World of Warcraft itself, the game. So, and I am creating a version for the iPad. So, but it is still not sure yet because Microsoft, as we all know, also has an interest in World of Warcraft. They have investment on that game, and they do have a tablet, though it is not in its finest form yet. So we don't know how Microsoft will counter and respond against iPad, which is already near perfection with a clean app store format and proper operating system. While Microsoft admits that their operating system for Surface tablets are too bloated. So let's jump into the equation. So the equation for creating hues together side by side is the equation of harmony, or what we call depth, which is measured in nits, or the quality of color and or quantity of color. You can express it in any way you want. If it is quantity or quality, it doesn't matter. But to make depth or nit subjective means you have to use both your subjective and objective sense because it both works for depth or nits. So depth is equal to perspective cubed, where perspective is the number of observers on a pixel, because perspective calculates the intensity of visibility to the viewers, and that's why visibility is an important factor to determine the correct degree of color for a pixel, or then it is multiplied to the cube root of shadowing. So shadowing depends on the motion and slope of light. So shadowing can either be lighting the pixel or boxing out the pixel. So the minimum and maximum value for shadowing and lighting is negative 1/2 or 1. So for boxed shadows, you cube root negative 1/2. And I choose negative 1/2 as an arbitrary value because cute graphics in iPads are supposed to minimize dark hues as much as possible, and positive 1 for lightly brightly lit graphics. So because cute graphics are generally brighter, so but for shadowing you can adjust for exceptions because values don't tend to follow what is in the range. So I made a safe range for cute graphics between negative 406 up to 27, positive 27. But if you follow the except, but you don't have to follow it hard-nosed. And you can make exceptions to the perspective and cube root. So, to adjust the value of depth. And that's when the depth's value became between negative 406 and 27 in the floating in the middle range. So that's why it is an estimated work too, because you have to create estimates or guesses to create exceptions to acclimate to the needs of a different product of a different output for the game. So for example, you can't have jungles and forests all the time. Sometimes you have to create dark dungeons for the game, and that means you can't have perfectly cute graphics all the time. You may have to mix cuteness with a dark shadow theme inside the caves. Especially those tiny little details like toxic gems that are embedded on the walls of the dark rough walls of the cave. So such things like that. So today I won't show a demonstration right now and just talk about those things. So that's what I have to say for you guys for today. So to create exceptions or estimate is essential to be flexible to the environment of the game, because the environment of World of Warcraft, or what we call Azeroth, is vast and contains variety. So we must be willing to make exceptions to the formula to create adjustments. So that's all for today, guys.